So this is another topic that I wanted to come in and talk about, and it is how important it is to actually do some projects yourself in the real estate investing arena so that you understand what it takes to actually do those projects. So, for instance, you're going to decide that you're going to rent a house or flip a house, you get a deal. You know, the smart thing to do, if you buy everything right, is to get a crew in there and have them do all the work. And that's so that you can actually ramp up and do more volume, right? But as you're starting, you know, I'm a big proponent of you actually getting in there and doing some of the work yourself. And the reason for that is because you will know what it takes to do that work. I'm not saying to do it by yourself, but maybe do it with somebody that has some experience, so that you can get in there and see what it takes, what's the effort. I'll just give you an example. Let's say that you have to demo a house. Let's say that you buy a house and they leave all the furniture. What did you say, Christy?
Not demo it, but clean out the house.
Yeah, so let's say that you buy a house and you actually need to do some demo and you need to clean out the house as well. So obviously, you know, you can pay a crew to come in and drop a dumpster on the site, clean out everything. You got to give them really good instructions, right? But why not actually do it yourself once so that you can see, okay, how big of a dumpster am I going to need? How many dumpsters will it take to actually clean out the house? So if you buy that house, you know the furniture is going to be left because that's part of what you negotiate to make it easy on the people that are selling to you. And you got to demo a bathroom, you got to clean out all the furniture, you've got to take doors down, maybe carpeting out or flooring out. What else maybe that you could take out?
A hot tub.
A hot tub. Well, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a different segment here. But things that, you know, wouldn't be big ticket items that are going to go into a dumpster, let's say. But at the end of the day, if you actually do that yourself, maybe you get a couple of people to help you, so it's your labor. You call, get the dumpster dropped, you know, get it filled, you see if it takes 1 or 2 dumpsters, if it's a 15-yard or a 20-yard, right? How many of it? And then, you know, there's a good way to load a dumpster and a bad way to load a dumpster. So that's another thing you can learn through that process, because you want to make sure whoever you're hiring is not costing you extra money because they aren't breaking things down and putting it in flat as possible. Because you can load a lot into a 15-yard or a 20-yard dumpster if it's loaded properly. So if you do that yourself and you find out that it takes you with 4 people that are inexperienced to actually take all the furniture out of a house, break it apart, put it in the dumpster, take all the flooring out, demo the bathrooms, trash out of cabinets, you know, that kind of thing, things off the wall, doors, maybe if you're going to replace interior doors, base, maybe it's a closet that you're going to take down because you're putting it in another location, whatever it might be that you're going to actually remove from the house. And you do that, you put it in the dumpster, and you see, okay, hey, I know I can get all of that into one 15-yard dumpster. And we just did this on a house, just so you know.
It took us
basically, I think, the equivalent of 8 hours. We've got probably another 2 hours left to do with 4 of us, and during that time frame we actually had to move some furniture, so we probably lost 2 hours actually traveling and doing that. So if I'm going to now, you know, look at what I spent, I've got one 15-yard dumpster that I know handled the whole thing, and that's because we busted up the furniture. We put it into the dumpster flat so it's nice and neat, organized, and it took up less volume. And I am going to probably pay at most, after this is picked up, about $350 for this dumpster. It really depends on the end weight, you know, how much you what kind of weight's in there and how much volume you have in there. So if I do that, and I just did it for free, it cost me $350. Now, obviously, my time is worth something, right? So you always want to, consider that when you're, doing your real estate investing. But now that I know that it took 4 of us that are really kind of inexperienced, I mean, while we're experienced in some ways, it's not like we do this every day, all day long, right? So we're taking our time, we're being more cautious because it's our house. And you want people to be cautious anyways when they're doing a demo job for you. But anyways, if you know that it takes 4 people 8 hours, right? And it was 1 dumpster, now you have some perspective on when you get a bid from somebody, what's realistic. And they need to make money on the back end. So let's say that their crew, they pay 2 to 4 people, and they probably could use 2 people to do what we did. So let's say they use 2 people and they pay them $225 a day. So that's actually $450, right, for a day's work. Let's add a third one in there. So it's $650 of labor. The dumpster itself, we'll just call it $400. So that's $1,050 for that job. Plus, whoever you're bidding it out to needs to make a little bit of money. So if you're using some kind of a contractor that is using their own team members or contracting that out. So anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 might be a good price to pay for somebody demoing a house that has furniture in every room. A 1,000 square foot house, we'll just call it, like maybe under 1,200 or 1,300 square foot house. So 1 dumpster, and we have proof that it only took 1 dumpster, right? So you have to look at how big the furniture is and how bulky it is. But if somebody quotes you $2,500, then the answer is no to that, because that's way too much money. They're making way too much margin on you. So that's why I would recommend, that's just one example of you doing a project yourself to try to get an idea of what it takes. And again, you don't have to do it by yourself because you might not know how, but ask somebody, stand beside them, say, hey, can you come help me do this, or can I come to one of your jobs and help, so that I understand truly what it takes. What does it take to install a window? Is it 30 minutes or is it an hour? And I know there's all variants to some of this stuff, right? But what does it take to install a typical door where you don't have to rebuild framing or whatnot? What does it take to install a window that doesn't have to be reframed out? What does it take to install locks, lights, switches, right? So if you know this stuff, then you know basically what it's going to take and how somebody should be quoting this stuff out to you. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I think it's so important for you, whether you're, wanting to flip, whether you're wanting to hold properties, even from a wholesaler's perspective, and really coming up with an estimate on a rehab, because you really need to be close on that estimate, because those of us that buy from wholesalers, sometimes the dollars that I see are allocated to some budget items are way too low. Sometimes it's way too high, to be honest with you. But that rehab estimate needs to be pretty straight on if I'm going to be able to make a reasonable profit margin and take a lot of risk on flip property. So very, very important as you are walking into your real estate investing career to consider doing some of that, either by yourself, with some other people that are knowledgeable, or follow a tradesperson around for a day and see what things are like. So anyways, just wanted to share that. Appreciate you watching and listening. Hope this is helpful, and we'll talk to you later. All right, bye-bye.